Hi guys, welcome to Disrupt Your Norm. My name is Naomi Dunn. I am an inner work coach and I help people disrupt their norm that's limiting their life to create a better one. So today I am speaking on how to listen to your intuition. And I see the flashing red camera, so I really hope I can get this video done before it runs out of battery because I'm about to catch a flight to Guatemala. So let's begin. So our intuition, as women, if you're a male listening, this still applies to you, but women naturally have a very strong sense of intuition. And it really is a survival tactic that God has given us, and it is beyond powerful. The intuition knows so much about your life that you don't know already. Just because women naturally have this stronger intuition, it does not mean that men do not have an intuition. They do. They may just need to put in a little more work to access and hear it. So things that can hinder somebody's intuition from being heard, I want you to think firstly of your intuition almost like a friend. And what happens when you ignore a friend, when you don't listen to what the friend is telling you, when you shut down the friend and their words? The friend doesn't want to speak to you as often. They don't want to tell you things as often. When we repeatedly ignore what our intuition is telling us, we don't hear the words of our intuition so often. Now, how do these words of our intuition show up? Are they literal words in our mind? Sometimes, but not always. Our intuition is actually a lot more subtle than you ever think. Your intuition usually comes in a hunch, or a sudden idea that comes out of nowhere, or a feeling in your body that you need to do something. If you're suddenly driving and you get a hunch, turn right, go this way, don't go on the freeway, always listen to it, because your intuition knows what could be ahead of you and the dangers that could be present. So when we receive these hunches but don't listen to them, that's when the intuition starts to suppress what it has to tell you. But if you start to listen more and repeatedly listen to it, you will notice that your intuitive nudges come to you so much more often. I've literally gone through phases where my intuition is so strong, and it varies because another factor that can prohibit the intuition from being heard is your physical well-being. If you are completely exhausted, you're neglecting your well-being, you're starving, you've a bunch of brain fog because you're exhausted, then it's going to be harder to hear your intuition. But if you have amazing well-being in that period of time and you are consistently listening to the words of your intuition, it's going to keep showing up for you. And I've literally got to the point, I used to, not anymore, where I would get annoyed because I would hear my intuition for every little thing, such as drive this way, don't drive that way, don't go to the gym this hour, go an hour later, do this, not that, like just every single little thing, don't eat this, eat that. And the funny thing is I would always realize why after, like, oh, I was supposed to go to the gym at 9 a.m. not 8 a.m. because I needed to meet that person who was going to help me with my business, whatever it may be. Oh, I was supposed to turn right to avoid that car crash that happened 5 seconds later. Crazy things have happened when I listen to my intuition, and almost always I see after why it had to happen. And it can literally become annoying because you hear it so often. You get these nudges non-stop. But you have to remember to not get annoyed by it because it's completely benefiting your life. I love hearing my intuition now, and I always listen to it because it is never worth ignoring your intuition for the sacrifice that may come of not hearing it later when you really need to. Now, another way that women often lose their sense of intuition is when they continuously go for the toxic relationships. They can almost dim down their intuition when it comes to relationships because they're continuously not listening and going for the wrong guy. So there's so many things that can dim down your intuition, but at any point you can decide, I'm going to start listening again. We all go through roller coaster phases of hearing our intuition because of our, like I said, emotional well-being and how much we decide to listen to it. But we can make it more consistent when we do. Your intuition will tell you to do some pretty ridiculous things sometimes, and sometimes you'll realize why after, sometimes you won't, but As silly as it may sound, and as unfamiliar to you as it may be, such as switching up your routine, cleaning your room in a certain way that you're not used to cleaning it, or going to a certain shop when you plan to go to another shop, as silly as it may sound, please listen to it. Your intuition can guide you places that are on the perfect path that you should be on, can guide you to people that are exactly the people you've been wanting to talk to, and it can especially guide you in areas where you have been desiring a certain thing for a long amount of time but are not sure how to do it. It will give you these sudden ideas that come out of nowhere, and when they come to you, realize it's your intuition. Now, how do we, oops, my camera's falling. Now, how do we decipher between our intuition and our emotions? Because our emotions can 100% most definitely lie to us. 100% most definitely lie to us. We can, for example, experience chemistry, good feelings for a guy who is completely toxic for us, but the only reason we experience that chemistry is because it's very familiar to something in our past that was also not good for us, but it is familiar to us. So that chemistry can feel good to us, but just because it feels good does not mean it's your intuition. Your intuition is not necessarily going to be a feeling. It's a very quiet thing that happens in the body. It's never going to scream at you. It's never going to bring this exaggerated emotion into your body. It's going to be very subtle. You know what you like and don't like, so you already know what's going to create good feelings and bad feelings for you. Those feelings are inevitable, but intuition is a lot more unexpected and brings you ideas and things that you usually cannot think of yourself. And another way to decipher between the intuition and emotions is just keep practicing. Literally think of it as something you must practice, because the more you practice listening to it, like I said, the easier it will be to hear it. And this may not make sense to you now, but if you apply it, I promise it will make sense to you. So yeah, that's all I have to say on the intuition. To sum it up, the intuition comes in sudden thoughts or nudges, not loud words that come to our mind. It's often very subtle, and the more we practice listening to it, the more we will hear it. So please never ignore your intuition. Continue to listen to it. Become curious about those sudden thoughts that come to you, and especially listen for it once you state there's something that you want in life, because if that thing in life is for you, then you will get the gut feelings on how to get there in the perfect way. The intuition is this incredible gift from God that we all have access to, not just women, every single person on the planet. So make use of this gift. Alright, this is all I have to share today on the intuition. If you'd be so kind, please subscribe or follow if you're listening on the podcast. I'll be posting more videos, especially some shorts, coming up soon. I hope that you guys can benefit from them. So leave a comment if you have something to say and I will respond to you, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.